Welcome, my name is Olga Kempora, and today we are going to have a session how to create joy in our lives. And so we will start with a meditation and breath work. So please sit up in a comfortable and sitting position and make sure that your spine is lifting, lengthening, that your shoulders are over your hips. So you are not leaning forward or you are not necessarily moving against the back of the chair. So nice and long spine. If you prefer, you can close your eyes and rest your hands on your thighs. Notice the natural flow of your breath. Notice how your breath travels through your body. Where are you feeling your breath? And just stay in that region. For some of you, it can be your belly. For others, you can feel gentle expansion of the rib cage. Some will feel rise and fall of the chest. Others will feel the natural flow of the breath through the nostrils, feeling the coolness of the breath on the inhale and warmth on the exhalation. So stay with that. And thank your breath for carrying through this day, through yesterday. Thank you, breath. Thank you for keeping me alive, keeping my organs working properly, giving my brain enough nutritions to think straight, to be able to feel grounded and calm. And as you now will be breathing in, I would like you follow this mantra. Breathing in, I calm my body. On each inhale, feel that. Breathing in, I calm my body. Feel the whole body on the inhale, calming from the crown of your head to the soles of your feet. Breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing in through the nostrils and breathing out through the nostrils. Breathing in, I calm my body. Start feeling how the shoulders feel more soft, how the hips feel grounded into the chair or into the support, how the neck and your head feel easy, how the legs feel its weight descending down to the earth. Breathing in, I calm my body. My body is calm. Every single cell in my body is vibrating with calmness. Feel that on the inhale. Breathing in, I calm my body. Take a few inhales just like that, and then release with the natural exhale. Doing great. Notice the feeling in the body. Notice the sense of calmness. Notice how it feels to be calm. What it feels like to enter in the state of calmness. Now we will focus on your exhalation. So now primarily only focusing on the mantra that will go on the exhale. So after next exhalation, as you inhale, and you still feel that calmness, right? On the exhale, breathing out, I smile. Breathing out, I smile. So you gently create the inner smile. Breathing out, I smile. Notice the state of your being as you breathe out and you invite your being to come in a place of creation of a smile in your body, in your heart, in your soul. Breathing out, I smile. And if it feels comfortable, I would like you to continue with this exhale and mantra and lift gently the corners of your mouth up, just very gently, not suggesting any laughing or creating something. You just simply notice what takes place in your body when you exhale, breathing out, and say, I smile, and you gently lift the corners of your mouth up. Breathing out, I smile. Breathing out, I smile. Again, notice also your body. Beautiful. Breathing out, I smile. And then we will place both of those breathing in and breathing out together. And it's all about the feeling that you experience in your body. in your heart. So after next exhalation, as you breathe in, breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I smile. Breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I smile. Breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I smile. Notice how the rhythm of your breath is going to sink into this mantra, that the breath becomes natural, long, deep, easy. And we close this whole mantra to add something more to that. So again, after next exhalation, as you inhale, breathing in, I calm my body. As you exhale, breathing out, I smile, dwelling in the present moment. I know this is a joyful moment. Breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I smile, dwelling in the present moment. I know this is a joyful moment. One more time, breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I calm my mind. Dwelling in the present moment, I know it is a joyful moment. And they can then take a nice, long, deep breath in. Pause at the top of the inhalation. And then exhale either through the nose or through the mouth. And we will do it 2 more times. Take a deep breath in and out. And one more time. Take a deep breath in and out. And then simply return to your normal breathing and bring your awareness back to the room. I would love to start with a really, really cool story. And maybe some of you might have heard this story, that it's called Maybe So, Maybe Not. And it's about a Chinese farmer. And the story goes a little bit like this. A farmer's horse ran away. And his neighbor, when he saw that, he said, "What terrible luck you have." And the farmer said, "Maybe." The next day, the horse returned, bringing several wild horses with it. And the neighbors were astonished and they said, "What great luck!" And the farmer replied, "Maybe." Later, the farmer's son tried to ride on one of those wild horses and he fell and broke his leg. And the neighbor said, "Oh, what a terrible luck." And the farmer replied, "Maybe." Soon after, soldiers came to the village to draft young men for war. Because the son's leg was broken, he was not taken. And the neighbor said, "What great luck." And the farmer said, "Maybe." So when you are hearing this ancient story, right, what is it that might come up? There are, sometimes people who might see, things taking place in our life, or we might be seeing other people and we might, think, "Oh, wow, what a great life," or "What great luck," or "What terrible luck," or "How bad, that situation is," right? And so what this story to me represents is that we can realize that events are not inherently good or bad. The judgment that comes is immediate. Wisdom is usually patient. So what appears as misfortune may become fortune and vice versa. And we are talking today about joy. And joy really disappears when there is a judgment. We might say today is a very cold day. And for some of us, it can be an invitation to be inside and do some indoor work and have some great plans and accomplish a lot of things. For others, they can interpret it as something that takes them away from the activities they were planning to do. And for us as humans, it's just really very difficult to have a plan and suddenly to need to change plan. But that's what really where the depth of the joy is, because the joy in our life, it's, of course, it's a feeling. When you feel joyful, okay, there is a certain dynamics, to that feeling, right? And also, joy can be something that can be cultivated from the inside. Joy doesn't mean always jumping up and down. It's a state of our being that we can cultivate no matter what's going on today in our lives. So just think about it, how you woke up this morning, what kind of things you have already done, what are the things that went really well, and what are the things that didn't go according to the plan. And you might simply have a really day when everything so far has been going well, right? And so you have a certain idea about the day and thinking, well, everything is going well, right? And so I have a reason to have joy. Or there are some of us who might say, I got a flat tire, or I just realized I ran out of cereal, or whatever that could be in the morning. And it is what we again make it mean. So it's almost like a joy is something that is wonderful to cultivate, especially in times when we are not capable to see it on the surface. And sometimes that type of a joy, is easy joy. And then there is a joy that takes a cultivation. It is like when you are around people, and there are some people that are so easy to love and to be around, right? Can you just think about somebody? If I say, it's so easy to be around this person. And when you think about that person, it just brings a lot of good feelings, good thinking, right? And then if I tell you there are some people in your life that it takes an effort to love them. And you probably also might have, someone who most likely will come, to your mind. And so what I'm suggesting is that there are different layers of joy. Definitely there is that one joy that it's easy to access when things are going well. There I see here there are some of you who are friends together on a call. So you are together, you gather together, right? So it's something that might bring a lot of joy. Sometimes that's what it is, right? And then there are circumstances that we encounter, and they take a little bit more effort, like when you get a diagnosis that you didn't expect, or when your plane or your flight got delayed, right? Or when you have to sit on some means of transportation, you are next to somebody who you would not normally choose to sit, but your seat is assigned like that, right? And there are many other things just like, and I think that most of us notice things in our life that are like that, when they are challenging. And to me, it's an invitation to create a miracle of joy. You might just kind of, have the flat tire, and you can decide on a purpose. Okay, I got a flat tire, and I am going to create a miracle of joy out of this. And what I mean by that is that, of course, the circumstance doesn't change. You still have the flat tire. You need to take care of it, okay? And so you need to call, someone, to help you, or you just will do it by yourself. You know where the tools are, in your car, etc., etc., etc. Or you have somebody who you call who might come and help you, right? So all of that, it's kind of like an extra work that you or I haven't planned on. Our plan was like hop in the car and go to the place. And we are paused. And we have to do something different in order to get ourselves to the place where we wanted to go. Yet, just kind of, what I'm suggesting about creating a miracle of joy is pausing and realizing this is an incredible circumstance that is helping me and opening me to grow into who I can become. There is some sort of a layer of maybe resistance or negativity that I can release. And so as you would approach something like that, I will see this as an opportunity for me to create a miracle of joy, to create a miracle of putting myself in this place and playing the game and really just reaping a gold out of that. Because do you know what happens? when when we become upset or when we become resistant to what is the circumstance that we are in, and we become more grumpy, and then we talk about it the whole day and whatever happens, okay? So we just handle it in a certain way. And I really do believe that anything that enters in our lives is not an accident, that it's really everything what has been taken place in my life. I truly believe that it's exactly the way it has meant to be for me. Things didn't happen to me, but things happen for me. And so that's, a beautiful distinction that we can, say, about anything, what's going on in your life. Just see the difference in the language when I say, this is happening to me, and this is happening for me. And I was reading one just of these books, and there was something really interesting that it said that, and I will give an example of that so that you then understand a little bit better. That it says that if we are not going to learn from one experience, the universe is going to give us another experience uh, of similar kind, even the very same type, sometimes don't, because we haven't learned from that first experience. Plus, we get another extra, just, credit that it's put on it because we haven't learned from the first one. So you can look about someone who might have a kidney stone, okay? And it's not a big kidney stone. It's bothersome, but it's not a big deal. And they pass the stone, and they realize, it's just, I should probably just, eat better. I should avoid certain things, right? But then they forget. Then comes another kidney stone, but the second kidney stone is much bigger, and it requires the person to go to the hospital, and the procedure is much more complex. Okay, the person recovers. It takes a little longer time. Now they are really, taught some lesson, right? I'm just getting some message, here to take care of myself a little bit better. So they do maybe for a little bit, and then they forget. And then next time they have something going on with their kidneys. And they go to the doctor, and it's almost like kidney failure, right? And so that needs even more intervention, from the doctors or from people who can help that person. So what I'm trying to come across with this is that anything that is there for us is just an opportunity to refine why we are here, and especially who we are, becoming on this planet Earth and through this life. And so, if we don't learn from one experience, the universe is going to give us another, and maybe a little bit kind of, more difficult. And I'm sure that you could share with me something similar, that you have seen that, maybe even in your life, or at least in the life of other people around you, that you would say, well, didn't they get the message? And again, right? And so each time it's almost like the test is becoming a little bit more difficult if we are not hearing and seeing that we are getting some message, hey, wake up, right? And so going back again, to the concept of joy that I have been exploring today with all of us, is it's the same thing. Like I said, there are simple and easy access to joy when the sun is shining, where everybody is behaving, where the news are good, right? That's a very easy, and I'm grateful for, that type of joy that just, comes. And yet there is a possibility for joy that can truly come from meeting the obstacle and seeing it not that it's happening to me, but for me. Meaning, I'm asking the question, what is here I can learn about myself that I haven't learned so far yet? What is it that I can refine about myself in this challenge? And I know that you will be blown away what kind of a doorway it opens up in your life. I want to share with you an experience that I have had a year ago. I was on a flight from Arizona on Southwest, and I was sitting in my seat. And make the story short, next to me was couple, older couple, and the lady, she had, and I didn't know that, and nobody know that on the plane, but she had attached, plastic bag that just was, for hair, to get rid of just kind of the fluids or things in the guts that she was not able just kind of to do, by herself. And at some point, she needed to go to the restroom. Nobody knew, just kind of, she asked me to leave the room. And then, so I walked, I was sitting on the aisle, right? And they were sitting together, so I stood out, and she walked to the restroom. And when I look at my seat, there was poop on my seat. And I look at it, and I look further, and I saw that it was kind of dripping from her seat to my seat. Well, to make the story short, when people were seeing that, they just thought that something was wrong with me, right? I will not go to that detail, but and it was a lot of commotion because because the bag, exploded, and so she had a, problem in the restroom and stuff like that. I will not go to the details, but all the, people who are taking care of just, us on the plane, they just kind of came, and they felt really just kind of, very sorry for me. They were cleaning up the seat. There was no other seat to put me on because the flight was all full. So I had to go back to seat, in that seat, that was cleaned, and I did so completely, just, I just went with that. And when we exited the plane, um, the pilot came out, with all the also hostesses, they came and they just thanked me profoundly and just told me, we know that if it was just, a different type of a passenger, this would be a major, major disaster on the plane. And then as I walked, outside of the plane, I was just, going to get my baggage. And as I was waiting for my baggage, there were people coming to me from the plane, and they just told me, I have never seen anybody to handle a situation the way you did. You are completely an angel to me. And the reason I'm sharing that, because I really, I had many choices in that situation. And I also actually afterwards, because I know how embarrassing it was for, the lady and also for her husband. And I just went up to them, and I just, really talked to them and just told them, that, everything is fine. I just told them, I'm really sorry. I know that it's just kind of, was not what you were planning for. And then again, it's because they thought that I would be mad, when I walked up to them. So they were just so grateful just how the exchange was, and I even told them, I just love you guys, things happen like that. And so I could see just how that changed them, and the experience. So I'm sharing that it's not that I always act this way, guys. I'm not always, as good as I was on that plane. It also definitely helped me that I was coming from the Ultimate Coach experience. I was the whole week just, in a really a very good and positive vibe, So I was really, my vibration was quite high, So I think that was helpful too. But that taught me, a lot, that it really taught me how such a, experience that could be terrible for everyone on the plane, everybody around me, okay, for the hostesses and everybody else. And it just kind of, became as this calm, just, experience. Things happened, let's handle it, let's move on. Let's just kind of get the plane just to the destination when it needs to. We don't have to make any stories about it. And it was, I didn't expect anybody come to me, especially the pilot. I really didn't expect anything. Like I was not doing it for that. I just, was there being just kind of, at my very possible best I could be under the circumstances. And so what is the miracle for me of joy? The miracle of joy was as I was really, then going back home, I was thinking about the whole experience, and it almost was kind of like a holy experience in a sense that it was not that there was not like, I'm so proud of myself that I handled it this way, but there was something that just took place within me. The sense of just the love and compassion that I was able to just kind of experience, for the couple and, for myself and for the whole situation, that it really had taught me just, how uh, compassion for other people is just so really important, to me. And it always has been, of course, but even for myself, because I realized, I'm sure that there were circumstances in my life I could be just similarly, in a place that other people just, I either might break a milk in the store. I don't know if it happened to you, or I just spilled something. Definitely happened to me in a store. So there are things that happen, right? And again, just, who do we want to be around that situation? Who do we want to be, even just kind of, really being the person that what is happening to us, who is kind of, having the issue, but we seeing that and creating, something that is much better. Um, I really would love to close with something here before we can, talk here. I would like to finish with a really beautiful, beautiful poem from the book Prophet, and it's by Kahil. I call it Gibran. I know it is here in US is it's spelled Gibram, or I think something like that. If I just really butcher it, I really apologize, for that. But I really want you to sit back and I want you to listen to this beautiful poem on joy and on sorrow. It's really short. It's not too long, and it goes like this. Then a woman said, "Speak to us of joy and sorrow." And he answered, "Your joy is your sorrow unmasked." And the selfsame well from which your laughter rises was oftentimes filled with your tears. And how else can it be? The deeper that sorrow carves into your being, the more joy you can contain. is not the cup that holds your wine, the very cup that was burned in the potter's oven. And is not the lute that soothes your spirit the very wood that was hollowed with knives. When you are joyous, look deep into your heart, and you shall find it is only that which has given you sorrow that is giving you joy. When you are sorrowful, look again into your heart, and you shall see that in truth you are weeping for that which has been your delight. Some of you say, joy is greater than sorrow. And others say, nay, sorrow is the greater. But I say unto you, they are inseparable. Together they come. And when one sits alone with you at your board, remember that the other is asleep upon your bed. Verily, you are suspended like scales between your sorrow and your joy. Only when you are empty are you stand still and balance. When the treasure keeper lifts you to weigh his gold and his silver, needs must your joy or sorrow rise or fall. What a really beautiful reminder to me of this poem is all the way the end, right? When it says, only when you are empty are you at standstill and balance, right? Just realizing that life is both of these scales, right? Joy and a sorrow. And to me, being empty is really tapping into the deep core of who I am and asking at any time, what is it? What is here that is taking place? What, is there for me to learn, to expand, to create even more sense of well-being? Because this whole life is about becoming, and we have a choice who we want to become. I would like to invite you this coming week when you will be maybe expanding on this. I would really definitely suggest that it's really, really great to listen, to this recording that we have created together, and listen to it once for information and twice for transformation. If you can think about it, it might be really, really just, cool thing. Now, here's the invitation that I have for us, okay? So, if I find it here in my, okay. And I love this exercise because it is inviting us finding three good things to call, not finding, creating three things during the day that will cultivate joy. So if you now have a pen, you can, write it down. Number one, write down three things that went really well today. And why do you think they went well? And the reason I'm asking why is not necessarily because of the circumstance, but notice how you maybe have aligned the way of your thinking to make it as a good thing. So write down three things that went well and why do you think they went well? And then the second next to it is to positive event that you have. Answer the question, why did this happen? So for example, if you wrote that your husband pick up ice cream, right, because my husband is really thoughtful, or because I remembered to reach out, to him and tell him that I would like to, have an ice cream together, or whatever, just kind of, that, is there. So next to each positive event, answer the question, why did this happen? What was your part in that creation? Okay. And then number three is really writing about why the positive events in our life happen. It may seem awkward at first, but if you stick with it for 1 week, it will get easier, and you will find out that you will start pivoting yourself as a creator of the experience, not only beneficiary, not only just kind of the one who is sitting somewhere back and reacting, but the one who is actually driving the boat of your life. So those are three things, that you can think about. Number one, write three things that went well today and why they went well. Number two, why did this happen? And three, stick with the journaling, okay? And notice how you can see yourself as the creator of these joyful miracles in your life. Thank you.